Are you a mom who's kind of searching the internet for some solutions, trying to figure out how you can maybe earn some meaningful money while being able to stay home and be with your children? If so, I get it. I have worked with so many moms. And I think it's really unfortunate that our world is not set up to support women so that they can have children, be home with their families, and also be able to have, really meaningful and lucrative careers because they're some of the smartest people I know. And they're some of the biggest hustlers, they're willing to make it work. They've got a family that they want to provide a beautiful life for. And it can be really hard to find solutions that really make sense and ultimately are intellectually challenging and stimulating, but also really rewarding. And I mean, not just through finances, but also in the meaning that it provides our life. So if all of that sounds good to you, I'd love to chat with you a little about copywriting. I have seen so many moms make it work. And if you're not familiar with what copywriting is often called sales writing or persuasive writing or marketing writing. And it's a really beautiful career opportunity that allows moms to be able to make meaningful money while writing for businesses and brands that they believe in. Now, if you're anything like me, I used to think that sales and marketing was so slimy. And if you had told me that I would be talking about copywriting to the extent that I am, as often as I am, 10 years ago, I would have had a really hard time believing you. But it's because what I didn't realize is that not all marketing is made equal. In fact, there is a radical movement happening in the world of marketing and entrepreneurship and sales that is really gorgeous. And it's a more female-focused, feminine energy-led, and ultimately really authentic and genuine movement. And it's happening because we all want to work with more authentic brands. We want to work with businesses who are actually doing meaningful, good work in the world. And I often joke I could have never been a copywriter in the Mad Men days. The world was not in alignment with what I needed to be able to make copywriting a meaningful career. So copywriting is essentially writing for these businesses or brands. And when you're a freelance writer, you get to choose who you write for, which is fantastic because I can't really do copywriting for businesses and brands that I just don't believe in what they're doing. So when you create a freelance copywriting business, you are hand selecting the clients that you're working with, and you're getting to, amplify deserving voices. And so that can be really meaningful. Especially if you're a mom, you kind of open your eyes to the world. I'm actually currently 6 months pregnant with my first. And so I know that it really kind of expands your view of the world and how you can kind of have an impact. And the other thing that is really powerful about a freelance copywriting business for moms in particular is that because it is based in value and you're not earning money based on the number of hours you put in, which is kind of a new concept for a lot of people if they're coming from, a traditional 9-to-5 job. But because it is value-based pricing, it means that you're able to earn great money in not as many hours as you probably would at a 9-to-5, where you're earning either hourly wages or a salary. So let me break that down a little bit in case that was new to you. Copywriting is a value-based skill, meaning that it generally generates sales or audience growth for a particular business. So it's high value, meaning that what you are writing is actually having an impact on the success of a business, and therefore it is worth so much more than how many hours it actually takes you to produce. Instead, what is more important is actually your copywriting skill set, how good you are at copywriting, and the impact that you have. So it's really powerful, it's really meaningful, and it's extremely in demand. The thing that's also really interesting about copywriting in today's world is that we live in a digital world. More people are moving on to the World Wide Web, and there are just so many businesses. Every day businesses are being added. There's millions of businesses moving online who are already online, and they all need copywriters. So unless the internet breaks down and we're sent into the dark ages, there will always be a need and a growing need for copywriters. In fact, that's one of the most exciting realizations that my students have, is that they come in worried a little bit about job security, and then they quickly realize that the opportunity in the copywriting world is so abundant. In fact, I often don't talk about my program on this channel because I really like to make it focused on just copywriting tips, but I've just learned so much through working with over 4,000 students in Write Your Way to Freedom, and so many of them are moms. A lot of them come from, previous backgrounds. Maybe they were a nurse or a teacher, and then they realized once they had their baby or once they had a few babies that they really wanted to stay home and provide for their family and to be there with their kids. One story in particular stands out to me because she was a nurse practitioner in oncology, and she thought, I'm never leaving this job. It pays great. I love what I do. I'm, really providing so much meaning. And she always told me it's just going to be a side hustle. And I was like, totally fine. It can be just a side hustle. But when she had her first and her maternity leave was denied, her FMLA, she decided to go all in on copywriting, and luckily she had already been kind of using it as a side hustle, so it was a very quick transition, and very, very quickly she was earning more as a copywriter than she was as a nurse practitioner, and about almost a third of the hours. So that's kind of the power of copywriting from a financial standpoint, but you also have time freedom. And that's another reason why it's a great fit for moms. You see, because as a mom, your schedule can be a little hectic, A kid gets sick, you need to pick them up from school, or they didn't go down for a nap as long as you thought they would. But the good thing is copywriting, freelance copywriting, is done on your own time. You're just setting deadlines, and you're giving yourself plenty of time to meet those deadlines. And so you get to work whenever it suits your energy. If it's early in the morning, fantastic. If it's late at night, that's great too. In fact, it's really important to learn to work with your energy. And so you can always change things around when something comes up, and you never have to ask anyone for permission. No boss to ask off for time. You don't need to make sure that you have enough PTO saved up. None of that. You just get to set your schedule, and it's so, so powerful. And the other thing that surprises people is that you're not really starting from scratch. You already have skills that are going to help you have a leg up on copywriting. It might be previous work experience, but you also don't have to work in that industry if you are so sick of it and don't want to go that route. That's totally an option too. But you probably have a basic understanding of English and persuasion. And once things are pointed out to you, usually you're like, oh, that's super interesting. I have noticed that before. I just didn't have the words to describe it. So it's a really interesting thing to study. I often make the joke that, when you were a kid and you knew which parent to go to ask for the thing that you wanted and what mood they should be in and how to approach them and what to kind of lay out in your argument so that it would be the most likely scenario that you would get a yes. That's what copywriting is. You just got to know your audience. You got to know what is going to resonate with them the most. And quite frankly, actually, one of the most important traits that I see make the most successful copywriters is empathy. And that's why I think women make such fantastic copywriters. So this video is very different from what I normally do. I think it's because it's been on my mind a lot lately, being 6 months pregnant myself, but also because I've just been so blown away by the moms in my course who have made copywriting work and who have been incredible business owners and entrepreneurs, and just powerful examples of what it can look like when moms are able to work from home and be with their family, but also give back in a meaningful way. And so this was just kind of on my heart recently, and I wanted to share it with you. And of course, if that resonates, go ahead and hit thumbs up. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe. And of course, I love hearing from you guys in the comments. Have a great day.